Hey, it's Takis, and you're hanging out on The Kelly Alexander Show.
Super excited to welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show DJ and producer Takis. Takis has an amazing song that's doing very well with Canadian singer Jamie Fine. It's called All Time, and we cannot wait to talk to him about that song and also about his burgeoning music career. Takis, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you for having me. And before we got on, I complimented your beautiful set, and I apologize for my white wall.
It's all good. It's good. And your shirt is like accentuating it, so it's all happy times. So I have to start at the beginning, which is, how did your music career start? Like, where did this all begin?
So I started as a radio intern in my hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I was an intern in high school. I love music. I love music discovery, and I just wanted to be allowed into this office. My hometown didn't have a real music industry. There were no music managers or agents, but we had radio stations, and I was lucky enough to get an internship. And back then, I don't know what internships are like now. They're probably a lot more informal. For me, it was really just get coffee and try not to get yelled at for my 8 hours there. But I learned a lot. And eventually, because my passion was music discovery, I wanted to find songs on the internet. I wanted to find songs that my friends in high school were listening to that I thought needed to be played on the radio. And eventually, they, let me into a music meeting, and I try to slide in one of my ideas. And eventually, they let me on air to play some of the songs that I thought were really popular online but haven't hit mainstream radio. And that was kind of the start. Learning music discovery and sharing music and the ins and outs of radio as a 17-year-old in a very small market.
That's awesome. Now, I understand that you play, I saw you playing guitar or bass, so I'm assuming you play that. Do you play other instruments too?
No, bass guitar, I'm also like such a novice. It's hilarious. I watch YouTube tutorials and my friends have been teaching me. But like on a serious note, I started as a DJ, and I take DJ culture very serious. I started on turntables. I believe in putting together a great show as a DJ. I'm a music producer and a songwriter second, but something I've been thinking about a lot during the pandemic is, what is my live show going to look like? And I know I could put on an amazing live show as a DJ, and I know I could bring visuals because I'm really creative with that. But can I learn basic keys? Can I learn a bass guitar for certain moments in my set? Can I learn certain elements where I don't intend to be a master of live instrumentation, but once we get back on road, I'm not as excited about an hour straight DJ set behind turntables with flashing lights. Maybe we could break it down and I could add a little bass guitar. Maybe I can have the keys or my a drum machine MPC. So during the pandemic, if there's been one productive thing that I've done, it is try to be proficient at certain instruments so I can have a live show that is beyond just a DJ, you know?
That's cool. Now, with the DJing, like, did you teach yourself? Did you watch YouTube videos? Was there a DJ that you love, like, who's doing it, that you're like, that's who I want to be like?
Yeah, I started out. You kind of are self-taught. Once again, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba. There wasn't a big music industry. There were a few DJs I really looked up to, but they were a lot more old school. I loved electronic music or really fresh hip hop records. These guys were, they've been in the game. They're 20 years older than me and were mentors in a sense. But I learned as a DJ amongst like 40-year-old DJs. I'm like 18 trying to make it happen, and the guys I'm playing with are like 30, 40, and that taught me, hey, you better respect this DJ culture thing. I know you want to make your pop songs and you're focused on electronic music, but respect really the art of being a DJ. But a lot of it was self-taught, but also I sucked for like 5 years. Like I was terrible. Thankfully, I think I'm an adequate DJ now at the age of 26. But
What's
you
your
would have hated to listen to one of my sets when I was 18. You would have left the club and left like a 2-star Yelp review.
what's your platform? Like, are you a Serato guy, Ableton? Like, what are your
So I started on Serato as a DJ, but and I say this unfortunately, I started on Serato. I love that program. I still use Serato when I'm at home, but Rekordbox and USB DJing has become the industry standard. It's just so much simpler to travel, to tour. For tech riders, pop in a USB. If you lose it, doesn't matter. You have spare USBs. So I've accepted the new world of being a USB Rekordbox DJ, but I have a certain place in my heart for Serato all those years.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned a couple of times already in our chat being from Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I'm wondering, like, when you were there and growing up there, did you know once you decided that music was going to be your career that you needed to get out because it was a small town? Like, when did you know you needed to leave?
Yeah, eventually it kind of dawns on you that the opportunities there were not available and there wasn't mentorship and you couldn't have a song breaking on radio in Winnipeg and anyone would hear it and somehow magically there'd be a record deal or there wasn't an agent that would see me DJ in a small venue and say, "Hey, I could get this guy on stages around the world." So it was very tough. Winnipeg's a big part of my story. It's very challenging trying to be an artist at that time because we didn't have many examples. I always have the example of like Ontario. If you're a kid from Ontario, you have examples. You have Drake, Justin Bieber, The Weeknd, Shawn Mendes, Party Next Door. Even if you're a DJ, now you have Loud Luxury, you had Dead Mouse. As a Winnipegger, we didn't have that example. I'm proud that I think I've started to become that example for a lot of young people, and that's a beautiful moment that I don't take lightly. But I really knew I had to leave and expand and learn to work with other people and build my networks and build my relationships. But that was an incredibly challenging jump. It's easier said than done to go from small town DJ to being a signed artist, moving to major markets and trying to gain respect outside of there.
I know you spent time in Los Angeles and in Toronto. If you had your pick, like, are you happy to kind of waffle between both, or do you want to be in LA full time? Like, what's the deal?
So I also lived in Nevada for a year when I was DJing in Vegas a lot. And this always surprises people, but I love Vegas. I love living in Vegas. I'm like an introvert and I don't even like leaving the house, but the ability to like do a show 5 minutes away from my apartment was amazing. Travel is a really tough part of what I was doing as a touring DJ, and I love the weather. And there's just something like magical about Vegas. It feels like you're just permanently escaping from the world. So there's a special place in my heart for Las Vegas and living in Nevada. LA is when it comes to songwriters and talented producers, I've spent a week in LA where I feel like I've gained 6 months of information. You meet the right person. And it's not even about connections, what they could do for me, what I could do for them. It's just talking to some of these people. They have so much information that changes your outlook. But I don't know. Now that things have become super remote and some of my best songs now have been written on Zoom, I don't really. I don't stress moving again. It's just wherever I'm going to be happiest. Because I feel like we can make music on our computers now.
That's awesome, which is true. And so, speaking of remote work and all that kind of stuff, All Time is doing obviously amazingly well. We're super happy to be playing it at the station I work for, Virgin Radio here in Montreal. Um, when you were creating the song with Canadian singer Jamie Fine, who you and I both have a crush on, clearly, like she's amazing. So she's just really cool. How, like, did you know when you were working on it that the song was going to resonate? Like, it's really resonated with audiences right across our country here in Canada.
Something I've been saying, and thankfully I was wrong about it. Some early Takis fans know that I tend to write open, vulnerable, and sometimes darker music. I write a lot about breakups, challenging moments. My project Welcome Home is about a very conflicted relationship with my hometown. And as we were writing all time, I kept having these second thoughts where I'm like, are my fans going to think I'm selling out? Are they thinking that I'm being cheesy? Is it cheesy to even say that things are going to be all right in this state of the world? And that was just me being in my head. And thankfully, my team and Jamie and Brandon and all the people involved in the record are like, bro, this song is amazing. Like, relax. You don't have to read every lyric and try to tweak it to be cooler. Um, but yeah, you really never know how the public is gonna. I always say, like, when I'm proud of a song, I send it to the label. I say, okay, good luck, and I'm going to focus on the next one. Let me know if I got to be anywhere. But once it's in the world, it's for the public. And for some weird reason, the public has decided that they love this song. So I don't know if it was the Zoom sessions. I don't know if maybe happier records are what people are craving right now. But I don't know. I don't know what happened with this record. I feel like the label is like trying to calculate what happened, but a lot of things must have went right because a lot of people are enjoying it.
That's awesome. Now, are you feeling any pressure with the follow-up to see how that's gonna go? Because I know you've had other like very successful songs too. So this is not your first kick at the can, but is there a sense of urgency, like, oh, I need to do this or surpass it?
So I've had a lot of like streaming success and success in other markets. This is my first Canadian top 40 radio hit on three Canadian Billboard charts. So the truth is, yes, the what I try to tell myself before I go to bed is stick to the formula, make songs you're proud of, ignore the business. The business is too unpredictable. I always look at like the business is like the circus, and I don't want to enter the circus. I just want to be in my room and make my songs. But I would be lying if I said this is the first time where there are a lot of people that didn't reply to my emails or my DMs before that are, and there are a lot of people in label offices that are a little more enthusiastic about what my next song and my album is going to sound like. So there's a bit of pressure, but because I'm human, I feel it. But I really try to just make great songs and ignore it because if I got caught up in that and if I checked every email I get about all the metrics,
Yeah.
I would not even make it to this call. I would have been like 4 hours late because there's a new email every 15 minutes about some metric or press article. So
Very good. Well, I like the idea of not joining the circus. That's very good. Explain to people watching right now why you decided to jump off of social media for a couple years, because I just think was a brilliant thought process on your part.
yeah, so I stepped back for it was a 2 year process and it sounds dramatic and people online made conspiracy theories of that I've left the country or something terrible has happened. But all I wanted to do was say I'm gonna step away for 30 days. I'm gonna see what I want to be as an artist. I want to see what style of music I want to make. Because at the time, I was making music, I was a touring DJ, I had a very different sound and outlook on the music business. I took a step back, and in that 30-day period, I started coming up with the concept for the album. I said, "Oh, welcome home. Like, what is something that I would want my debut to be?" Came up with the concept of Welcome Home. I wanted to tell the story about the brightest moments growing up and the most painful moments growing up. So I'm like, okay, a week off of social media, I thought of my album concept. That's kind of cool. And then I wrote a song called Wait For Me, the first song that has come up off of my album. And I felt like that was like the best demo I've ever been a part of. And it attracted some of the biggest artists in the world on that record. So I'm 30 days in being like, I feel happier. I feel less anxious. I have an album concept, and the first single is the best song I've ever written. Let's make it 60 days. Then it became 60 and 90. And eventually I just said, I'm going to stay offline until the album's done. The album did get done. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay off until the first song comes out, until I am obligated to A, my fans, and B, my team that I care a lot about. My team puts in a lot of work. I'm ready. As soon as we're putting out a song and it makes sense for me to get back out there and take the punches and immerse myself in what it takes to promote a record that I'm proud of, I'm out. And every time I explain it, I really try to say it's so less dramatic than what everyone says. I heard so much online once I got back, and everyone asks me this question offline, online, and I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit weird, but it didn't feel that dramatic. It just felt healthy. I was on a mission to make a great album. I was on a mission to make pure art where I wasn't copying everything else that was popular. And it certainly worked out for me. And I have times right now where I'll message my team on a Friday and I'll say, hey guys, I'm offline Saturday, Sunday. We'll talk Monday at 9 a.m. I still do that. And thankfully, my team respects that. And we get on those calls Monday morning. Usually there's some chaos over the weekend I missed, but I still to this day sometimes take weekends off.
That's smart. I think that's awesome. And I think a lot of people would agree with you. Now, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you, for someone who hasn't met or listened to Takis yet, what do you want them to know about you to give your music a chance?
So I'm an honest storyteller. I try to share the best and worst parts of my life, my real life. Every song is a real story about real people or real moments, and I try to package it into a pop dance format. I make pop slash electronic music. A lot of guitars, a lot of acoustic raw sounds, but when you hear my stuff, it's just very honest. It's as honest as I could be in the pop space.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for this. You're amazing. And you're welcome back on the show anytime.
Thank you for being such a big supporter of mine.
That is DJ and producer Takis. You can learn more about him and grab his social media handles at takismusic.com. We are doing Breaking It Down with DJ and producer Takis. I have to ask you, what is your favorite cheat meal?
Oh my goodness. See, I know this is a short segment, but this is like a 4-hour answer. I am the weirdest person you've interviewed because I eat the same thing every single day. I'm not joking. I literally eat rice, broccoli, and chicken every single day for like 5 years.
That's okay. If it works, keep it going. Plus, you have beautiful skin, so keep that up. It's obviously working. It's good.
I did have cake on my birthday, so I am lying.
Okay, good. Do you like ice cream? I love ice cream. No?
I'm no for the ice cream, but on birthdays, it's cake. Everything else, rice, broccoli, chicken. Repeat.
That's it. Okay. If you could have a talent, which one would it be? Like, is there something you wish you knew how to do? Like hula hoop?
I wish I could play the piano like some of the people I watch on YouTube. Like I'm trying to learn keys the best I can, but I see some of these like prodigies that are like and I'm just like, if I could do that, I don't know if it would improve my music, but it would look very cool on my live shows and on my Instagram. So being a piano prodigy, I wish my parents put me into piano classes at the age of 2.
Yeah, that's smart. What 3 words would you use to define yourself?
Oh man. Uh Creative, quiet, nerd.
Oh, cool. That's a good one. I like all 3 of those. And what is your favorite holiday?
I like Halloween a lot because I've had some of the coolest shows ever on Halloween. Everyone parties, everyone wants to go listen to dance music. So I say Halloween selfishly because I've had some of my best live experiences performing.
Do you dress up when it's Halloween?
I'm not gonna lie, and look, I know this is the wrong answer. I know that I'm being too cool, but I don't dress up when I DJ on Halloween.
Okay.
But
Do you
I
wear
will.
black though? Do you wear black or orange to kind of?
Also, an unpopular answer, I wear all black, and I usually wear a black leather jacket like everyone's expecting that I'm wearing, but I'm gonna try to switch it up. When things reopen, I'm not gonna be that guy anymore.
Okay, cool. Hey, it's Kelly Alexander, and thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, so you are the first in line for all the cool content coming your way.